Hello everybody, my name is Jeremiah Craig and Boulet Boots is back on the channel today. We're doing an extended test of the Boulet 9381 Ranch Hand Tan Cowboy boot. Let's get into it. I'm just here to connect ya, and then I'll be on my way. This video is helped made possible by Anchorhead Coffee. Anchorhead has been my favorite coffee since even before I started YouTubing about cowboy boots on a regular basis. My wife introduced me to them when we were living in Seattle, and since then, I can't get enough of this coffee. So if you're sick of your coffee tasting like ashtray water, give Anchorhead a shot. Head on over to anchorheadcoffee.com and you can save 10% on your order when you put in Jeremiah Craig in the coupon code area at checkout. All right, we got a beautiful boot here with some really cool features, but to make sure we don't miss any, let's get into the rundown. This is the Boulet model number 9381, and it is full grain cowhide leather on the foot and the shaft, and this is the Ranch Hand Tan color. This is sort of a roper style boot with the heel and the toe combination. It is a very round toe, some would call it a roper toe, and it also is very similar to a U-toe shape. This boot is also 12 inches tall with an 8-row stitch pattern in the shaft. Love the looks of that. We also have pull holes rather than pull tabs on this boot as well. And it also has a double scallop here, which comes down about 4 inches. Which is great for those folks out there who have wide calves. Let's move on down to the heel. We have a 1 3/8 inch stacked leather Stockman heel. Great for working and walking around. And then we have a really cool outsole here. This is what Boulet is calling their leather injected outsole, which I like to categorize as a hybrid sole because there's some rubber and some leather. How they do this is they have a leather outsole and then they grind down about half of it and put this rubber in here, which bonds with the leather immediately. It gives it a really clean look, but it also has the traction that you would get from a rubber outsole. They then finish it off with a full stitch here around the welt. There are no pegs or nails in here. Boulet has been known to do the full welt on a lot of their boots, but sometimes they also have wood pegs down here. They don't in this boot, which isn't completely necessary when you do the full welt. But let's talk about the inside. We have a leather-lined boot all the way through the shaft and the foot, and we have a removable insole on this boot, which this is the first time that I've ever experienced a Boulet with a removable insole. They're calling it their Boulet Super Comfort Removable Insole, and it's pretty much all foam, and it has about 30 perforations in here for some good airflow so that your feet don't stink too much. One thing that I really like about it is this arch. It has some support in some areas and sort of empty spaces in others, which hopefully will allow several different kinds of arches to fit and form around this foam. That's one thing that I've noticed with hard leather insoles or insoles that have some leather and foam that are non-removable is that the arch is pretty much stuck there. If it doesn't feel right, then it's never gonna feel right. So the fact that they have this bit here, I feel like that's going to make it approachable and form-fitting for a lot of different size arches out there. But we'll see. I would say you might want to size down a half a size if you go with Boulet. I just did a video about Tony Llamas. I'm an 11D in their D-widths, and I would have to do a 10.5E in Boulet, and that's pretty much the same size. So if you are usually a 9D in your Tony Llama boots or Dan Post boots, you might want to try an 8.5E in Boulet. Let's try out these boots and see how they look and feel. All right, I got the Boulet 9381 boot on right now, and it feels spectacular. The leather is supple, the fit is nice and snug, just like how I like it, and that insole is pretty impressive. This is the first Boulet that I've tried with a removable foam insole, and that arch support area where they have those sections sort of cut out so it can form is doing a good job. I mean, that's one of the things that I have a problem with on some Boulets, is that the arch is a little bit too far back. And that's because they don't do B widths, right? I'm a 12B. I have to size down to a 10.5E with this boot and all my other Boulets. So the fact that they can make an insole that forms to the person's arch, even though they might not be the boot for their true size, is really cool. This is a nice insole that will feel great for those of you coming from Ariat boots or Twisted X, and it is a very good value, made in Canada for about $250. That's American dollars. This is a relatively new boot to their lineup. They just released it in 2020, and I like the direction of it. The leather feels great, the fit feels great, and the insole is awesome. Also, the rubber part of that leather injected outsole does give you a good amount of traction, but it's also giving me a lighter boot altogether. So not only with a hybrid outsole do you get that clean leather look on the outside of that outsole, you get the traction of the rubber as well, but the weight of a leather boot too. And here it is POV. You know, that toe shape isn't gonna impress a lot of folks, but it's a good classic clean look that feels great too. It feels great, but what does that mean? We gotta put these boots to work, and I have an awesome extended test for you guys. Let's go. I headed to Southwick Zoo in Mendon, Massachusetts to work with zookeeper Josh all day on what will be the dirtiest extended test to date. And with that, I need to do a little trigger warning. If you are squeamish to poop or raw meat, you might want to stop watching or skip ahead to the final thoughts of this boot, because here we go. Yes, we pretty much just cleaned up after these fine animals, and we started at the Sika deer enclosure. Once we finished taking care of the deer, we headed on over to wish a good morning to the hyenas. And then we had to clean up after the rhinos. Now, I was feeling like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park for a moment.
That is one big pile of shit.
But it didn't end up being that bad. As they went outside to eat in the sun, we were left inside with a big pile, but it wasn't Jeff Goldblum big. Wow, that shit is heavy. And then we went back in to watch the rhinos play for a minute. These are some happy animals at Southwick Zoo. Next up on the list was the warthog. Yeah, we had to clean out and feed the warthog, and of course, those hogs like their dinner sloppy, so I wet it down. And while they ate in their large enclosure outside, I cleaned up inside. With the warthog's belly full and stall clean, I did something I've never done before: dishes for a warthog. We headed on over to clean up after these big Watusi cattle. Funnily enough, their crap doesn't look any different from the cows here in America. After we finished up there, we took the crap wagon over to the camel enclosure. No one got spit on while we were here. Whoops, missed one. Got it. Next up, we had to feed some of the fiercest animals on Earth. Lions. And also some tigers too. In order to feed these big cats safely, the zookeepers put ground meat inside their shelters, and then while they're there, that's when we put the meat on the outside for them to eat when they come out.
And to make it like a little Easter egg hunt for tigers, I'm told to take this meat around to different areas of the enclosure. Good luck finding those tigers. We really didn't make it that hard on them, but we are gonna try to make it a little hard on the lions. Josh tells me that on this tree here, the lions will jump up if there's meat up on top, so I'm gonna give it a try. What a bad first try, damn. Okay, a little closer that second time. Here we go, I got it this third time. Yes, third time's the charm. But here comes Josh. First try. First try. The lions don't care how many times it takes to try, they're hungry. So let him out. He goes for it right away. Yes. Go ahead, buddy, I'm not gonna try to take it from you. Now it's the tiger's turn to eat. And as they come out there fast, well, the Bengal tiger is scared off. It's kind of like, well, if you're gonna be like that, I think I'm gonna go eat inside. We only had one more enclosure to clean, and that was the oryx, the zebra, and the ostrich. We pretty much just had this one spot to clean to end the day, and the Boulet 9381s did very well. One last thing before we could go home though, we gotta dump it. I'm really happy with how these Boulet boots held up after a crappy but amazing extended test here at Southwick Zoo.
What a fun day at Southwick Zoo. Huge thanks to them for hosting me and letting me work with their zookeepers, and to Brian Chapman for helping organize the extended test there. If you guys live up here in the Northeast or are visiting sometime this summer, I highly recommend that you spend a day at this family-owned zoo. There are so many animals there. I didn't even get the chance to visit half of them in the footage that you saw. Plus, they are involved in conservation projects across the nation. Visit southwickzoo.com to learn more about their hours, like their page on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and you won't regret it. Speaking of no regrets, I had no regrets wearing this all day long while working at the zoo with those fine folks there. This is a really comfortable boot, and I'm gonna get into my final thoughts right now about this Boulet 9381. This boot is comfortable, the leather is supple, and it barely needs any break-in. You can put this on from day one and just go. Seriously, it feels great. The hybrid outsole gives you the traction of a rubber outsole, but with the weight of a boot that has a leather outsole. So it's really lightweight, very comfortable to wear all day long. I did not get tired at all while wearing this boot. It's a very versatile design too, so it gives you traction. It also gives you a nice clean look. Sometimes rubber outsoles get pretty chunky and they're not the best for like casual or formal occasions. This can be used in those occasions, like if you wanted to shine these up and wear them to a wedding after you, I guess, put them outside for a little bit, if you were working around the rhino sort of let that smell dissipate a little bit, then clean them up, wear them to a wedding. You could totally do that with this type of boot, and the hybrid outsole gives you that possibility. So lots of versatility in this boot. It's not good for everything. I mean, there are times when I was climbing on rocks when I definitely would have liked a full rubber outsole, but there are gives and takes, right? It's gonna be a heavier boot if it has an entire rubber outsole. Another thing that stood out to me in this boot was the removable insole. Now, I'm a fan of the non-removable leather insoles that are in a lot of older Boulets. Really like that feeling. So this is the first time that I ever tried a Boulet with a removable insole, and I kinda like it. One of the biggest things that I noticed was the arch support provided in this insole, thanks in part to these pillars here that kind of move and shift depending on where your arch is, providing support in different areas. So it gives a little bit, but holds the foot up where you would need it most. And it feels great. It feels great. So if you need some extra arch support, this might be a good boot to try. I still prefer the older non-removable insoles, And one thing that I have noticed as well is that those pillars do kind of show through as the boot breaks in. So I'm getting little waves on the outside of this boot at the arch where those pillars meet the leather inside the boot. So, you know, we'll see how it actually breaks in over time. I'm imagining that those waves will just become more accentuated. So if you're looking for a really, really clean break-in, you might not like that look in the future, but if you really don't care and it's kind of under the arch anyways, then it might be worth a good go. And for $250, I feel like this is a really good value. Boulet boots are usually very reasonably priced for the quality that you get in their boots, and this is no different, even though it is a newer model. They released this last year. So this is still a brand new boot in the grand scheme of things. It has a very Roper-esque look with a toe bug. So for those of you folks who like the Roper feel, but kind of want that Western toe bug look as well, this is also a good choice. I don't think you can go wrong with this boot. It held up, it was lightweight, it was so much fun wearing this at Southwick's. Let me know what you think about the Boulet 9381 down in the comments. If you are interested in getting one, definitely visit bouletboots.com and head on over to their retailer map to find a store near you where they may sell these boots. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Boulet can handle crap from all around this earth. And if it can handle that, it can handle what it's worth. Yeah. Thank you for watching today. Why don't you check out this video up here about 10 years with Boulet to see where these boots might go. Or I got a song down here I think you might enjoy. I'll see you next time. Peace. Have a good one.